Welcome to Waters World. I'm Jesse Waters. Stop listening to the haters. That's the subject of tonight's Waters Words. Remember all this?
If he becomes president, is it time to leave the country?
He will never be president.
What would you do if he did?
He will never be president.
But he can't because it's not in him. He's not smart enough, he's not competent enough, and so he ran a horrible campaign. And in the end, all the things that we've been telling you about him and what a loser he is and why he went through all those bankruptcies and why he's bungled almost every business he's been in is because he's a serial bungler. And he bungled this election. An election he could have actually won, he will not win because of his incompetence.
On the David Pakman Show, and I want to talk through it with you because I don't see any way that Donald Trump can win the election tomorrow.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Do you ever have one of those moments where you think, how the hell did I get here?
We gonna take you back in the
Let's get ready to rumble!
I know you gonna dig this.
Say hello to my little friend! What the fuck?
Last year, the stalwarts of American punditry predicted over and over and over again that Trump's candidacy would unravel, but it didn't. Don't take our word for it. Take a listen.
They're bringing drugs, they're bringing crime, they're rapists, and some, I assume, are good people.
Donald Trump isn't afraid to speak his mind, but this time it could cost him.
Most people think Trump is going to flame out or drop out.
He's going to flame out very, very quickly.
Trump isn't paying the price in the polls.
Now Donald Trump is a top contender for the Republican presidential nomination.
He's a war hero because he was captured. I like people that weren't captured, okay? I hate to tell you.
You have to ask yourself, has the Donald Trump shtick really run its course? And today, with these comments about John McCain, it very well might have.
I don't think this is the end, but I think, and this may be a little bit wishful thinking, it might be the beginning of the end.
I think this was the beginning of the end for Donald Trump.
Really the beginning of the end of Donald Trump.
I will eat my right hand if Donald Trump is the Republican nominee.
Meanwhile, here we go. A new PPP poll conducted after his remarks about McCain still show him in first place with 19%.
You could see there was blood coming out of her eyes, blood coming out of her wherever.
Red state organizers said this is the beginning of the end of Trump's campaign.
I think this could be the beginning of the end for Donald Trump.
I think this is the beginning of the end for Donald Trump.
Two new polls out today have Donald Trump in the lead of the GOP pack, even after his recent controversial comments about Fox News anchor Megyn Kelly.
Donald J. Trump is calling for a total and complete shutdown of Muslims entering the United States.
Many people think that this controversy could be the last straw for Donald Trump.
I think this actually is the beginning of the end.
And there is new evidence today that Trump's recent comments about Muslims aren't keeping his popularity from rising.
Donald Trump is not going to be our president. He will probably flame out, I would say, probably within the next 3 to 6 months.
I don't think we're going to be talking about Donald Trump in 6 months like a meteor. I do think he's going to flame out.
Trump will flame out.
I think he's a Roman candle that's destined to burn out.
I think Donald Trump is going to flame out soon.
Every time people predict the demise of Donald Trump, he gets stronger.
Every time we try to predict that it's happened, we've been wrong.
I'm done predicting about Donald Trump.
You always wonder whether Trump's about to go over the line.
No, there is no line.
Always seems to recover from this.
Everybody that said the latest round of nonsense was going to destroy his candidacy, just stop. We've been saying that for 6 months. Stop. You're going to be wrong.
I was wrong. I thought Donald Trump was going to self-destruct.
Yeah, I'm doubling down on my demise theory. I think he's going to collapse. I think he's going to be like sitting, taking the oath of office on some January 1st, and I'll still be predicting a demise.
On behalf of ourselves and our colleagues, we promise to do better this year.
I do, based on your theme, believe that he's here to stay for a while, maybe through a few primaries, but
He is not going to be the nominee.
As I've mentioned before, Victor, Donald Trump is not the Republican nominee.
Now there's this Trump thing going on, I gather. He's doing okay in the polls for a while, but he's not going to be the nominee either. So we'll be fine.
Well, I don't think it's likely that Donald Trump will be the nominee, but it's obviously too early to tell. I would vote for the nominee of the Republican Party, and I don't believe that's going to be Donald Trump.
Can he win the nomination?
Well, sure you can. I mean, you can make a case that probably 6 or 7 people can make the nomination. Do I think it's likely? No.
The only thing is Donald Trump hasn't won this nomination. The majority of Republican voters don't want Donald Trump as their nominee.
And Donald Trump, who is not going to be the nominee.
Number one, as a Republican, are you going to be able to support the Republican nominee if his name is Donald Trump?
Donald Trump will not be the nominee.
All right, but that's not answering the question.
I feel very confident that the nominee is going to be anyone but Donald Trump.
The polling and common sense will take you away from Trump getting the nomination.
I don't think he'll be at the top of the ticket, one, so it's a hypothetical for me. I don't think it's going to happen.
He's the front runner. According to the polls and the elections, he could become the nominee, and we're not going to let that happen.
Ultimately, the Republican Party will reach out to all voters based on who our nominee is. And I don't believe Donald Trump will be our nominee.
In fact, it's almost inevitable to say whoever is really the front runner running away with it today is not going to be the nominee.
And I believe that Donald Trump will not be the nominee. Well, he's not going to be the nominee, Martha. Donald Trump is not going to get the nomination.
Donald is not going to be the GOP nominee. We're going to beat him. Well, listen, Martha, nobody's going to clinch it on the first ballot. Nobody is getting to 1237. I'm not, but Donald Trump is an I.
So Donald Trump will lose, and he will then destroy the Republican Party.
Can Donald Trump win a general election? My view is no.
You're never going to be president of the United States by insulting your way to the presidency.
Let's see, I'm at 42 and you're at 3, so
Doesn't matter.
far I'm doing better.
Doesn't matter.
So far I'm doing better.
I can't find a single Republican. I talked to probably 12 Republican senators yesterday or their representatives. I couldn't find a single one who now thinks they're going to win.
Donald Trump is not going to get the nomination. I'd like to support the nominee, but he's not going to be the nominee. That's just not going to happen.
Well, I don't think it's likely that Donald Trump will be the nominee.
He is not going to be the nominee.
Well, I'm going to support the Republican nominee, and I'm comfortable that it's not going to be Donald Trump.
Donald Trump is not going to get this Republican nomination.
So, Jenny, could he actually win?
No freaking way!
Do not tell me that Donald Trump is in this to win this, okay? He's a sideshow.
I don't think his plan has anything to do with Latinos. His plan, his strategy is to win the White House without Latinos. I don't think he can do it.
I'll leave it to you to speculate on how this whole race is going to go.
Well, I don't think it's likely that Donald Trump will be the nominee.
He is not going to be the nominee.
But he's not going to be the nominee, Chuck.
Donald Trump, who is not going to be the nominee.
Donald Trump is not going to be the Republican nominee.
Donald Trump is not getting to 1237.
He might get to 1,237. Realistically, I wouldn't bet $1 on it.
He might be leading the Republican ticket next.
I know you don't believe that, but I want to go on. Donald Trump has reached the number of delegates
Needed to clinch the Republican nomination
For president.
I'm so honored.
I continue to believe Mr. Trump will not be president.
With Latinos, and it would be sweet, sweet justice if after everything he has said, after every attack he has made against Latinos, after he has thrown out Latino anchors from press events, after he hasn't done any outreach, after he has questioned a judge's citizenship, after he has called Mexicans rapists, it would be sweet, sweet justice if tonight it was the Latino vote that defeated Donald Trump.
There's not going to be a President Donald Trump. That's not going to happen.
Donald Trump will not become president.
He's not going to be president. He is not, Donald Trump is not going to be president of the United States. Take it to the bank. Okay. I guarantee it. All right, all right.
I think if he becomes the president, he'll make it great because the states is already great.
I think that man will be president of the United States right about the time that spaceships come down filled with dinosaurs and red capes.
On that note, Tom,
Take it from me. How about that?
Cheers, Tom.
And then, of course, there's Donald Trump. Donald Trump has been saying that he will run for president as a Republican, which is surprising since I just assumed he was running as a joke.
Donald Trump, just last week, he confirmed to the National Review that he is again considering a run in 2016.
Do it. Do it. Look at me. Do it. I will personally write you a campaign check now on behalf of this country, which does not want you to be president, but which badly wants you to run.
So when you stand and deliver that State of the Union address, in no part of your mind or brain can you imagine Donald Trump standing up one day and delivering a State of the Union address?
Well, I can imagine it in a Saturday night skit. I continue to believe Mr. Trump will not be president.
He will never be president of the United States.
And we better be ready for the fact that he might be leading the Republican ticket next.
I know you don't believe that, but I want to go on.
Sorry to laugh.
Okay, here we are. And which Republican candidate has the best chance of winning the general election?
Of the declared ones, right now, Donald Trump.
And so, right now, Mr. Trump, to answer your call for political honesty, I just want to say, you're not going to be president, all right? It's been fun. It's been great. I love you. But come on, buddy. All, let's say, cow poo-poo aside, there is zero chance we'll be seeing you being sworn in on the Capitol steps with your hand on a giant golden Bible.
I'll make a prediction, though, for you. And I don't really get into predictions much, but this one I'll go way out on a limb. Donald Trump will never, ever be president of the United States. That Trump should not be in this race. He's an absurdity. He is a travesty.
Donald Trump will never be elected president of the United States.
Donald Trump is a here today, gone tomorrow candidate for president of the United States. Donald Trump is not going to be president of the United States. Ever respectful of the fact that the people have not voted, he's not going to be president of the United States.
Let's be clear. Donald Trump will lose the election.
I mean, he had a really good chance to be different and really have a chance to change things, but he doesn't do the work. He's lazy.
We talk about him every day, and we continuously bash him.
He's not going to be the president. Don't worry about it.
Exactly.
This would be a wake-up call to the Republican Party. Despite Boris thinking that Donald Trump could win New York, like this, the presidential race is over.
Could I just cut through? I have one thing to say, one thing only, and that is that this race is over. Tomorrow morning, the money will dry up. The Republicans will start to hide. Trump has no place to go. This race, effectively, as of tonight, is no longer a presidential race. I mean, everything I know about presidential politics, and I've been through 5 of them, I've never seen one like this. This race is over. You might as well accept it. And the question now is, how do you minimize damage? And the only way you can do that, it seems to me, is to try to grab hold of some old conservative value things and do what Mondale did in '84, which is try to save a few people down ballot. But as far as Donald Trump's concerned, it will never, ever, ever happen.
President Obama will go down as perhaps the worst president in the history of the United States! Exclamation point at real Donald Trump. Well, at real Donald Trump, at least I will go down as a president.
The scene here is so different than it was a few hours ago when people were happy and relaxed. There are people who are just in shock, and they are just stunned at the idea that they were completely sure they were coming to this event to celebrate Hillary Clinton becoming the first female president, and now they are confronting the reality that they could be walking out of here perhaps expecting that Donald Trump is going to become president.
We have a major projection right now. Donald Trump will take Ohio. CNN projects Donald Trump will win Ohio with its 18 electoral votes. And CNN projects Donald Trump will carry the state of Florida With its 29 electoral votes, Donald Trump wins Florida. A huge win for Donald Trump. That's his second home in Florida. Donald Trump will carry those 29 electoral votes. He's ahead right now with 98% of the vote in by more than 131,000 votes. A big win for Donald Trump in Florida. He predicted he would win Florida. He has won Florida. CNN now projects that Donald Trump will carry the state of Wisconsin. He will win Wisconsin with its 10 electoral votes. He's cracked the so-called blue wall that Hillary Clinton had tried to create. Donald Trump wins Wisconsin. Take a look at this. 92% of the vote is in. He's up by 75,000 votes plus 10 electoral votes. Donald Trump, the winner in Wisconsin. Let's take a look at the Electoral College map right now with that win in Wisconsin. Look at how close he is. Right now, he has 257 electoral votes. He needs 13 more, 270, to be elected president of the United States. Hillary Clinton remains at 215. Let's go over to Jake and Dana. He is getting incredibly, incredibly close, Jake.
And the wall comes tumbling down. This is the blue wall that Hillary Clinton had talked about. This is a state that Hillary Clinton hasn't even visited since the Democratic convention over the summer.
We are going to make this decision now. The Fox News decision desk has called Pennsylvania for Donald Trump. This means that Donald Trump will be the 45th president of the United States, winning the most unreal, surreal election we have ever seen.
Dana, you wanted to be precise, so go ahead.
That's right. CNN can report that Hillary Clinton has called Donald Trump to concede the race. She has called Donald Trump to say that she will not be president, and I'm not sure the exact words, but probably to congratulate President-elect Donald Trump. So that has happened in the last few moments.
Right now, a historic moment. We can now project the winner of the presidential race. CNN projects Donald Trump wins the presidency. The business tycoon and TV personality capping his improbable political journey with an astounding upset victory. Donald J. Trump will become the 45th president of the United States, defeating Hillary Clinton in a campaign unlike anything we've seen in our lifetime. Donald Trump wins the presidency of the United States. He is now going to be called President-elect Donald Trump.
Are you okay? You okay? Are you all right?
Everybody should head home.
Oh, boy.
You should get some
Get out of
sleep.
here.
And I want every
Go home to
person
mommy.
across the country who supports
Tell her to tuck
Hillary
you in
tonight
bed.
That your
he's such a
voices
nice guy.
and your enthusiasm
Nasty
means so
little-
much
I'll
to
tell you,
her
nasty
and to
people.
Tim and to all of us.
Out,
You are in all of our hearts. Thank
Get
you.
out of here. Bye. Go home to mommy.
The so-called political pros lost their credibility last year. So why do we keep listening to them this year? Everything the establishment says about Trump turns out to be wrong. Let's take a trip down memory lane.
In the event Donald wins, I have no doubt in my mind the market tanks.
Oh, Mark, buddy, I hate to do this, but let's play it again.
In the event Donald wins, I have no doubt in my mind the market tanks.
How could the first billionaire business mogul president tank the market? The Trump bumps juiced the stock market to historic highs. Speaking of tank,
Let me tell you what I did.
so not only was Trump going to destroy the economy, he couldn't even get anything passed through Congress, remember?
This is a test for President Trump's legislative abilities in terms of being able to fashion legislation as he has promised. And he's got big items coming up, tax reform being one. But it looks like he can't deliver.
I don't think they're going to be able to get a consensus together to get tax reform done.
He is a powerless president.
Does a powerless president deliver a $1.5 trillion tax cut to families and businesses? Repeal the Obamacare mandate? And finally begin drilling in Anwar? And one of the most irritating things to listen to is pundits claiming cutting corporate tax rates wasn't going to help workers.
This is just
a matter of fact. When corporations get tax cuts like these in this economy, they buy back stock.
They very well may buy back stock, but Comcast, which owns MSNBC, announced as a result of the tax cut, it would give special $1,000 bonuses to more than 100,000 of its employees. I'm sure the staff of Morning Joe could use that money around the holidays. And AT&T also promised $1,000 bonuses. Wells Fargo promised to hike its minimum wage to $15 an hour, and Boeing promised to spend $300 million on employees.
Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.
Finally, Trump's ISIS strategy. Crooked Hillary didn't think too much of it.
Donald's been all over the place on ISIS. Sometimes he says he won't tell anyone what he'll do because he wants to keep his plan, quote, secret. And then it turns out the secret is he has no plan.
I remember what part of the plan was.
I'm going to bomb the shit out of them. It's true. I don't care. I don't care.
And people from all stripes didn't think it would work.
It's interesting to hear some people, they run for president, they talk tough. We're going to carpet bomb ISIS. We're going to make the sand in the Middle East glow in the dark. Well, you can't carpet bomb ISIS if you don't know where they are.
And CNN said destroying ISIS in Iraq would take a generation.
This is something that's going to go on for a very long time. This is a generational threat. You just don't say beat it in 30 days because it's frankly insulting to the individuals who've been attempting to put all their strength on the line to defeat it over the last 16 years.
It didn't take a generation. It took a year. ISIS has been driven from the battlefield in Iraq and holds no territory there anymore. You don't believe me? Even the New York Times op-ed page was forced to admit it. Columnist Ross Douthat, writing in a piece titled "A War Trump Won," quote, "If you had told me in late 2016 that almost a year into the Trump era, the caliphate would be all but beaten without something far worse happening in the Middle East, I would have been surprised and gratified. So very provisionally, credit belongs where it's due, to our soldiers and diplomats, yes, but to our president as well." So, when you're around the dinner table this Christmas and your left-wing cousin starts popping off, bring these examples up. If he or she doesn't listen, pour them a little more wine. Why should we believe anything the haters and the pros say about Trump when they've been proven wrong 2 years in a row? The answer is you shouldn't. If your local weatherman keeps telling you it's going to be sunny, but it always rains, that's fake weather. So find a new weatherman on a different channel. The same goes for fake news. It's time to start thinking for yourself and trusting people with proven track records, like me.